Hello, this is Sarah Vanchevsky, the data manager with CPCQC. I am recording this video about how to enter your data for the Nest Infant Safe Sleep Initiative in REDCap. That is where we collect all of our data across our different QI projects. So you're seeing here all of our different QI projects. You will need a REDCap account. If you don't have one, please get in touch with Sonia, your QI advisor. And if you would like, you can CC data at cpcqc.org, and we'll get you set up to enter data in REDCap. And so all the data you're collecting for your project for Nest will ultimately be entered into REDCap every month. So you will go to the Nest Infant Safe Sleep project, which you should have access to. If not, again, please reach out to me. And within this project, you will go to data collection. You can either go to record status dashboard or add edit records. I prefer the record status dashboard because you can nicely see all the data your hospital has submitted so far in this nice table. So what we see here is all the data we're going to collect for the year. There's the readiness assessment at time 1 and at time 2. So that's just twice a year. Now we'll fill that in. The primary thing we'll be doing is filling in the QI data on a monthly basis. And so for each month that you're submitting your data, you'll see both the Nest Safe Sleep Practices Audit and the Nest chart reviews. These colors indicate whether these forms have been marked as complete or incomplete or unverified, which is for you all to track. We don't do anything with that really. I'll show you it's at the end of each form, but it makes it a quick way to know like, oh, I need to go back to this incomplete chart review and fill in additional data. Well, I'm done with this hospital self-assessment. We marked it complete, it's green. So let's say, and why we're seeing all these dots, circles here, multiple of them, is that for each safe sleep practice audit, as well as the chart reviews, we are looking for 20 of those per month if there are enough births in your hospital. Otherwise, you'll just fill in as many as you have. So let's say we're going to fill in our safe sleep practices audit. We've already got one in there that is complete, and we've got one that's incomplete. We've marked it as red. Let's go ahead and add a new record here for January. We're on our third baby, and we're doing our safe sleep practices audit for January 2026. So we come in, automatically will be assigned a record ID by REDCap. There are some safe sleep practices guidelines for filling in this form, reminding you that a separate REDCap form is required for each infant audited for safe sleep practices. Each row in that kind of table that you filled in potentially that you've been putting on a clipboard and taking from infant to infant to audit their safe sleep practices. And now you're basically transcribing that over into REDCap. So there's a little reminder of what that is, that form you can get here, and you're going to complete 20 audits of sleeping infants eligible for safe sleep practices. The selection of those infants should be as random as possible, capturing different shifts and staff. And if 20 eligible infants are not available within the month, please complete audits for the maximum number available. And just a reminder that these infants do not need to be, and likely will not be, the same 20 that are used for the chart reviews. So first, we ask about which unit your hospital is focused on for the year. And this should remain constant throughout the year and be the same unit that you're doing your safe sleep practices audits and your chart reviews. Let's say our hospital is doing NICU. Then we want to know, was the infant compliant with safe sleep practices? Let's say this one was, yes. Any additional notes without patient identifying information can go here. And when we're done, if the form is complete, select complete. This is for our own tracking. That's going to give this record that green bubble in REDCap. If we need to come back and do more later, let's call it incomplete. Folks don't tend to use unverified. This is auto-generated by REDCap. I could see putting that if there's a person on your staff who has the assignment of verifying records, basically coming in and double checking them. I don't know of any hospitals that have that kind of setup, so we tend to just see complete and incomplete. Again, we don't use this data. on our end to present your records back to you or anything. It's really for you to keep track with your team of how data entry is going. Let's call this complete, and then to add another record or infant, select save and go to next instance. Now we're going to see the same form again, and this time we're still doing NICU. This infant, though, was not compliant with Safe Sleep. So we see this dynamic question come up where we're now going to be asked, why was the infant not compliant with Safe Sleep practices? Okay, this one was not on their back. And also they had extra items in the sleep area. And that's that. And then was the non-compliance addressed with the caregiver, physician, or nurse? No, not that I know of or is indicated on the chart, so no. And by chart, I mean the PDF paper version of this Nest Safe Sleep Practice Audit, not to be confused with chart views. Any notes, and then let's mark this one complete as well. So you can see that this process is pretty darn quick to get that Safe Sleep Practices data in. Now, let's say we're done with this for now. We could add more here, but we are going to move on to our Nest chart reviews for January. And this also corresponds to that kind of paper version of chart reviews that you may or may not have filled in. But basically, we're transcribing that here. We'll do a separate form for each chart reviewed, and there's going to be 20 that we do if there are 20 births for infants ready for discharge who have been discharged for the month. They must be eligible for safe sleep practices. And again, the selection of charts should be as random as possible. And these do not need to be the same infants that were audited for safe sleep practices. So again, our hospital's doing NICU, and we're going to get into some birthing person demographics here. There's a table of how we're collecting and defining race and ethnicity if you need more details about what subcategories go into each of these. And we can select all that apply. This patient we have as Asian and white, let's say, although note that you can also put other race, not documented or unknown, and patient declined. The birthing person ethnicity, the birthing person primary language, we have English, Spanish, other, and not documented. And primary insurance. And again, this is to look at equity in the way that documentation is being performed. So again, if we have a lot of not documented in here, that's going to end up being part of our QI work together, is trying to understand how we can get that documentation into our EHR. And then were each of the following documented within the EHR: safe sleep education using TeachBack. These are kind of our core outcomes that we're looking at here for chart review. Let's say that's documented. Home safe sleep environment screening, that one's not documented. And education materials provided in birthing person's preferred language, not documented. And any additional notes. Then we can mark this complete, and we can go to the next instance. Let's say for this chart review, what we see is a little bit different. So this person is Black or African American and not Hispanic or Latino. Let's say they speak English. That's their primary language. They've got private insurance. They did have safe sleep education using TeachBack. And let's say that they also had home safe sleep environment screening done, and that's documented. And then based on that, we're going to see this follow-up question. Were home safe sleep needs documented? So we did the screening. Do they have needs? Let's say they do. And if we select that, we see was a referral or resource provision documented for home safe sleep needs. No, that was not documented in the EHR. And yes, the education materials were provided in their preferred language. That's documented. Any other notes? And I'm going to mark this complete. And I've got one more to do, so I'll click Save and Add New Instance. But if we're done for now, you can save and exit the form. It'll take you back to the record status dashboard. So now we see that we have 2 complete safe sleep practice audits and 2 complete chart reviews. And we can add more here, 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 almost too many places. So that is how we enter the data for Nest. If you have any questions or issues with this, again, my name is Sarah Banchevsky, and you can reach me at data@cpcqc.org. Thanks.